In the mirror, the eyes are always human until they blink. It started with a hum, barely audible, low and rhythmic, the kind of sound you'd mistake for a refrigerator running too long. But for people in the town of Belridge, it was the beginning of everything. Carla Mendez first heard it when she was locking up the hardware store. She turned her head, searching for the source in the nearly empty parking lot. It stopped. Then, just as she slid the key into the door, it returned, vibrating through her bones. When she turned around again, there was a man standing under the streetlight. He hadn't been there before. She was sure of it. He was tall, dressed in a wrinkled gray suit. His face was thin, mouth too small, and his eyes, they didn't blink. Carla held his gaze for a moment too long before stepping back inside and pretending to count the register again. When she looked up 5 minutes later, he was gone. That night, she dreamed of teeth, long, needle-like rows of them, curled into a smile too wide for any human face. The next morning, her neighbor June Keller didn't show up for her usual gardening routine. June was 74, spry, and had kept her backyard pristine since before Carla was born. Her shears were still on the ground, stuck into the soil like a grave marker. No sign of struggle, no note, just gone. And the humming grew louder. Jason Lee worked for the county utilities department, but his real obsession was patterns. He tracked electrical usage, internet traffic, cellular pings. Anything he could graph, he did. It started as a way to predict outages and optimize service, but lately, the data wasn't adding up. Entire neighborhoods spiked in power at 3:17 a.m. every night for 17 seconds. At first, he blamed faulty equipment. Then he tried to link it to weather anomalies, illegal grow-ups, even cult activity. Nothing fit. So he mapped it, and he saw it. A spiral. A perfect Fibonacci spiral across the county, with the center directly under Belridge. He reported it to a supervisor, who smiled too widely, told him to stop wasting county resources, and tapped the desk twice before dismissing him. Jason didn't realize it at the time, but the tap wasn't just a nervous tick, it was a code, one that he would come to recognize in others. Others who no longer blinked.
A pirate signal interrupted a live weather forecast on Channel 7. The screen blinked into static. Then a woman's face appeared, pale and shaking, with eyes darting off camera. "They're here, wearing us. They slip inside and mimic, but they don't understand pain or love. That's how you know. That's how you test." A hand reached from off-screen, yanked her backward. Her scream echoed until the channel cut back to the weatherman, who stood frozen for several seconds before resuming with a crooked smile. No one talked about the interruption. Online forums deleted the clip within hours. When Jason tried to find a cached version, his computer fried.
Carla began noticing more of them. They wore smiles that didn't crease their eyes, clothes that looked slightly out of place, like a mannequin's approximation of normalcy. They walked too silently, tapped tables twice before speaking. Their conversations were off. "Have you consumed your nourishment today? I enjoy mammals. I mean mammals media. Weather is optimal for ingestion." She stopped sleeping. Her reflection felt like it was watching her. The hum followed her, whispering just below the range of clarity, like a voice she almost understood. One night, she followed one of them, down an alley behind a diner, into the storm drain system, past graffiti, rats, broken glass.
until she reached a chamber. It pulsed. Living walls, glistening with organic slime. Pods embedded into the surface, each containing a human face. Some asleep, some screaming silently, some copies. Standing in front of one pod was the man in the gray suit. Except now, his mouth opened vertically. Rows of teeth blinked at her. Jason parked his car 2 blocks from the radio tower. His laptop balanced on the passenger seat, humming with a heat it shouldn't have been producing. He had traced the last coherent frequency of the hijacked weather broadcast to this location. It wasn't broadcasting now, it was receiving. He hadn't told anyone about his plan. He didn't trust anyone anymore. Not since his sister Emily had smiled too widely and started sleeping standing up. Inside the tower's perimeter fence, he found a maintenance door unlocked. A trail of slime led down a steel staircase. Jason followed it. The stairs led to a sub-basement that didn't exist on any blueprint. In the center of the dark chamber, a single chair sat beneath an array of cables and mirrored lenses. When he stepped closer, the lenses rotated and focused on him. "Jason Lee," a voice said from behind him. He turned. A woman stood in the shadows, her shape human, but eyes glassy. "You were not meant to see this." "Who are you?" Jason demanded. "I am Observer 13. We correct deviations." The walls flickered, revealing dozens of figures frozen mid-motion, suspended in light like holographic statues. Some of them looked like him. Jason backed away. "What do you want?" "Assimilation, understanding, occupation." The humming returned, louder now. Jason ran. Above ground, the streetlights blinked in unison. Jason didn't stop running until he was back in his car. He didn't remember driving home. When he came to, the sun was rising, and his windshield was cracked straight down the center, as if struck from within. The humming was still in his ears and in his chest. It was becoming part of him. At home, he pored through every map, every file, every piece of data he had collected. The spiral pattern was more than geographical, it was temporal. Every 17 hours, something activated. A frequency, a signal. Carla appeared at his doorstep later that night. "You don't know me," she said, "but you saw it too, didn't you?" Jason let her in.
Carla told him about the pods, the chamber, the vertical mouth. Jason listened, nodding slowly.
"They don't understand us," he said. "They think mimicking is enough."
"It isn't?"
"No, they don't feel. They observe. I think they see us the way we see lab rats." They put together their data, Jason's charts, Carla's sightings. Together, they found something terrifying. There were more. Dozens of hot zones across the country, all with the same pattern, all with disappearances, all with replacements. They needed to warn people.
They hijacked a community radio signal. Carla spoke first, her voice trembling. "If you're hearing this, know that the people around you may not be people at all. They don't blink, they don't dream, they only mimic." Jason read coordinates, entry points, signs to watch for. The broadcast lasted 6 minutes, then static. The door behind them creaked. A woman in a red coat stood there, smiling. Her eyes didn't blink. "You violated containment protocols," she said. Carla grabbed the chair, swung. The woman split in half. No blood, just a hiss. Her body twitched, reforming into something tall, white, and eyeless. They ran.
Jason and Carla fled underground, into the sewers, past familiar markings, symbols they now knew weren't graffiti, they were maps. They found it. The central node, a biomechanical monolith pulsating with light and noise. Inside, rows upon rows of human shells, some used, some fresh. Jason plugged his laptop into the nearest port. "What are you doing?" Carla asked. "Uploading the signal, our warning, everywhere." The monolith screamed. Jason screamed back.
Phones rang across the world. Screens flickered. Hidden files unlocked. People watched in horror as hidden footage played. Alien forms emerging from human skins, replacing entire families, towns, cities. Mass panic. Governments denied everything, but it was too late. The illusion had shattered.
Carla and Jason made their last stand in a signal tower in Nevada. Surrounded by a swarm of gray-suited invaders, they prepared to send the final message. They are here. They walk among us. They wear your neighbor's face, your teacher's smile, your lover's eyes, but they are not human. Carla kissed him. Jason pressed send. The humming stopped. 6 months later, the world adjusted, or pretended to. Some chose to forget, others joined them. Hybrid groups emerged, arguing that coexistence was the answer. Carla never stopped looking. One day, walking past a mirror, she saw her own reflection blink, but she hadn't. She stared at it. The eyes blinked again, smiling.
If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for more dark and unexplainable encounters. And remember, sometimes when you look at the stars, something stares back at you.